Hello all and welcome in to WHF Tier 2 Round 5. You're joined by me, WHF for this Mexican Grand Prix as we're heading around the Autodromo de Hernandez or something. I don't actually remember what the track is called, but regardless, we're here in Mexico for the fifth round of the calendar. Welcome one and all in, as we've got SSR Zampa on a lap here in this one. And as I was loading, all trying to get the lobby started, as Zampa losing the rear around the final corner. Let us... I wonder if I change that, does that fix anything? A little bit. Zampa goes quickest, followed by Stephen Beecham. I'm going to have to try and fix the graphic settings here. As I was loading into the lobby, or trying to set up the lobby, my game, or my PC entirely crashed. And it reset all my settings, so... things you'll love to see. I don't know why my screen looks like this. It's weird. Hopefully that's fixed some things, but it still looks strange. Let me no, this one's on, so I don't know. Not quite sure. Anywho, we've got Crimson up to P2. Anyway, as Ollie Bean we're having issues with the lime setup now as well. Just all of the Lime's having issues with his setup. For some reason, his assists are forced on, which is a strange one. Legendman in the chat says, I serve ban. And yes, you do serve ban. But for some reason, the stream itself looks a little strange. Just even the gameplay in general. Welcome in, Sci-Fi Mega Hype. Unfortunately, couldn't make it to the lobby in time. We had a late lobby enough setup, but I had invited you, Sci-Fi, so unfortunately if you don't join the lobby within 10 minutes, there's not a lot we can do. As Crimson's actually 4 thousandths behind Stephen Beecham. As Raheem may have been a little bit blocking Factory on the lap there, not quite sure. To see what the stewards say, but a lot of drivers there up in the 16s, but the quickest drivers are in the 15 7s. But we'll see, can we follow the Haas here, and why does it look like that? We'll go on board with TJ, who was the winner last time out. But it's annoying because I optimized all my graphics yesterday, and now they seem to be a bit broken again. which makes no sense. I don't know why they have. But welcome in, Andre. Hope you're doing well. But I hope this is not a reoccurring thing. I'll have to keep changing my graphics every day. As an Aquarius boat in the chat says, shout out to Shiraz. I don't know who that is. But let me also make sure the sound alerts are on as TJ goes to P7. Let me get the sound alerts on. And normally the streams aren't this scuffed. It's just, you know, for whatever reason my PC entirely has started to die this week. So, ew. Gotta love it. As we've got Lanky starting a lap. We've got the debutant of A54. As Ovenchip says, what happened to F1 Lime? F1 Lime has had an issue and the game has retired him. So that's lovely. We'll invite Lime back to the lobby so they can rejoin, but unfortunately for Lime, he'll be starting from the back of the field due to that issue. As Zampa does improve, but just shy of the pole lap time. Currently 3 drivers on a 15.7. As Yuri is always lit says, TJ all the way. And let me just double check that we've got Lime back in again. Excuse me. Anyway, Lanky up to P10. We've got Andre into P12. Legendman does say Northy for pole ? Not to say that I'm doubting him, but I'm doubting him, you know. As the Aquarius boat says, TJ's winning. Well, last time out, TJ did win his Cree Invalidates. So maybe TJ can recreate that again. Tyclair does move up to P6. And Crimson invalid on his try. Is there anything I can do to fix the graphics? Because yesterday they didn't look this bad. It genuinely looks like as I scroll through the menu, can you see that? Where it's like jutting around really strangely. There's definitely something wrong. Well, I guess we'll fix that another day, because don't really know what else to do. Anyway, Stephen Beecham going to get a bit of a tow from his teammate Tyclair down the main straight. And I'll probably just have to fix my graphic issues another day, unfortunately. And can Stephen improve on this flying lap? Currently has a purple Sector 1. With the help of Tyclair giving him a big tow down the main straight. D. Summers also had moved up to P5, but Infrajack in the Red Bull, actually replacing him there in P4. And actually half a second Stephen has found, over half a second Stephen has found on this lap. And as he finds his way Round the final corner, where can Stephen go in the Ferrari? Can he improve? And by how much? As Stephen up to the line, it's a 15-0 in the Ferrari. What a lap time there from the Ferrari. Can anyone challenge that at all? We will certainly see. Meanwhile, Scones coming around. Can Scones improve on his lap? Up to the line in P4, or P8, sorry. Goes Scones as TJ moves up to P5. We've got also Northy and Creek out there trying to settle up. Creek up to the line. Creek goes to P13 as Dubsy starting an outlap. We'll try and get Lime back in again. But there's definitely something wrong with my PC. Maybe I could do like a whole reset or something on Monday. Or something, I don't know. But anyway, currently Stephen Beecham is the man to watch. And has a strong lead over the rest of the field here. But Lime's still having his issues as we try and get him back in the lobby. Meanwhile, Ledgeman just had a qualifying ban for readying up early last time out. So we should have Lime back in, hopefully, as A54 on a flyer now. Through the middle sector, can the V-Carb keep it within the white lines? Oh, I just realized I need to open this as well. But A54, what was that noise? As he improves by 0.2 Dubsy on a flyer here in the McLaren. Oh, that is not good. Oh, that is not good. That's really not good. Oh my god, what is happening, my PC? Oh dear lord. Well, hopefully this is fixed now. That would be preferable. Ledgeman, that is a Lime issue. If Lime is listening, Lime, you need to restart your Xbox. But anyway, we do have 2 minutes left of the session. We'll move on board with Zampa, who's out on a lap. And can Zampa improve here? Currently Stephen Beecham on pole with a 15-0. Can anyone come anywhere close to the Williams driver? And Zampa's actually going to back out of this lap. Does he have enough? Here has to go again. We'll see. As we'll give Lime one more invite, see if we can get him back in again. Oh. TJ on a flyer here as well. We'll see if anyone close to finishing a lap. But Ty Clear going a little bit deep into turn 12. Can he keep it valid? And a lot of positions could be gained here from Ty if he can keep the lap together. And as Ty now round the final corner, crosses the line up to P5. Big improvement there. Over 2/10 gives Ty a bunch of positions as well. And meanwhile, we've also got Ollie Bean coming around the final corner. I think he's just starting his final run. Crimson now coming up to the line, but isn't improving by much. As Crimson comes up to the line, he improves by 300ths, but will not give him any positions as Zampa in the wall. What has happened, Zampa? Not quite sure. Infojack invalid will not improve. TJ going to start another lap. Ty Clear on an in lap. D Summers now coming up to the line as a checkered flag falls. D Summers improves very slightly. As Gunner now up to the line. Gunner up to P11. Next around is the Aston Martin of Scones up to P5. Big improvement there from Scones. As we also have the V-Carb of Creecree. He's invalid. We've got Northy. He's also invalid. Who else do we have out on a flyer? Is it Andre? It is Andre, although he seems to be very down on his Delta and invalidates. As Factory and Lime finally back into the lobby again. And actually gets out of the way for the cars behind. I believe TJ is one of the cars of Stephen Beecham out there, although he's slowing down for a couple of cars there as Ollie Bean comes in. Lanky one on a flyer, but doesn't seem to be improving by much. Does have a Red Bull behind him. As Lanky now going to come across the line. Doesn't improve. Infojack doesn't improve. Can Crimson improve? He's coming into the pit lane along with Steven. Anyone else out there on a flyer? TJ coming in. I think that is everyone. Everyone is done for the day. And there you have it. Stephen Beecham on pole by 6/10. Mind the gap, gents. What a insane qualifying performance there from Stephen Beecham. 6/10 clear of Crimson, who's just ahead of Zampa, followed by Infojack Scones, TJ, Ty Clear. Lanky says a 15-0 is ridiculous for Tier 2, fair play. And Stephen Beecham is currently the Drivers' Championship leader, but at the same time, Stephen is yet to get a win in Tier 2, but could this be the opportunity for Stephen now, the Championship leader, to finally get his first win in WHF? We will certainly see. There you have it. Stephen on pole, ahead of Crimson, ahead of Zampa, ahead of Infojack, Scones, TJ, Ty Clear, D Summers, Andre, and Ollie Bean is your top 10. We'll just quickly get all of the background information for the stewards as Daddy Chill on P11, Lanky, Factory, Dubsy, Creecree, A54, Raheem, Northy, Lime, and Ellis. Lime with technical issues kicking him from the lobby as Ellis had a quali ban to serve. As I will let the drivers know when to get ready here to get ready for the lobby. Hopefully no one ready's up, because if we have to do a lobby restart, I don't know if my PC is going to survive that long, because for whatever reason it was working fine all day, and then as I go to set the lobby up it crashes, and then now it's just, I don't know what it's doing. Who knows? But as long as we can survive the race, we should be good. But anyway, get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to win this one? Currently, Stephen Beecham starts the race from pole and starts 6/10 ahead of Crimson, who's in P2. Last time out, Crimson finished P2 behind Stephen Beecham, and TJ picking up his first win in WHF. But could the championship leader Stephen Beecham finally get his first win in the Ferrari? And this could be a big opportunity for Stephen to extend his championship lead over the rest of the field. Closest driver to him in the championship is TJ, but is behind him by 26 points, I believe. So Stephen could do himself a big advantage if he can get a win here today. As Sci-Fi Mega Hype in the chat says Stephen for the W today. And considering he qualified 6/10 ahead of everyone, it would be a good driver to bet on. But the question is today, is this going to be a one-stop or a two-stop? I mean, I'm not quite sure. I've not even seen any league races at Mexico so far, so who knows, as Lime has left the session again. We will give him another invite before we get ready to go. But Lime seems to be having an absolute nightmare today. As Oven Chip says, you really don't want to qualify pole at this track. And honestly, to be honest, I would take pole. I mean, even if you may lose it off the start, it's still a good position to be in. Cypher Mega says one stop, soft, then mediums. If it's a one stop, it definitely will not be a soft medium, that's for damn sure. It at best will be a medium hard or a hard medium, and we will now have the 5 red lights on as we hear the chimes counting down as we get ready for 36 laps around the Mexican circuit here in round 5 of Tier 2 as the 5 red lights come on. And they're out as we get a good start from Stephen Beecham. He leads the field away. And can he out-drag Crimson down the main straight? He's got a good start here, Stephen, as he pulls to the inside. And we've already got some moves in the midfield. Zampa moving his way up into P4. Going to have a little luck for P3 as well. As Infrajack already up into the podium positions. As we got some ghosting here off the start. As Infrajack already up into P2. Absolutely lightning is Infrajack now. And Crimson getting back ahead of Infrajack as they all battle through the first sector here. Scones and D Summers battle. Scones losing out in that battle, but Scones trying to battle with Gunner as Tyclair watching along here. Side by side they go, and Scones going to try and outbreak Gunner, and Gunner's around. Gunner coming together with Scones as we see cars all over the show. As Lanky side by side with Dub Z, and they're just surviving at this point. No one even really staying on the circuit. They just don't want to be involved in any accidents at this stage, it seems. Oh, and someone sent it on Ellis there, the V-carb of A54, as Infrajack getting ahead of Crimson now down the main straight. What has happened, Crimson? Crimson already losing out to Infrajack in the Red Bull here. And Crimson trying to send it back down the inside of Infrajack. Side by side they go. As Zampa may get ahead on Crimson now. Crimson leaves the track. Opens up the door for the switchback from Zampa, and the Williams driver back up into P3. But Stephen Beecham now already has got a 2-second gap here on lap 2. As a big send there from D Summers on TJ. And TJ keeping it ahead of D Summers there just about. But Zamp up into P3 now, Infrajack in P2. As Stephen Beecham has got the ideal start here already. As Cree follows along Gunner, who earlier had that spin after coming together with another one of the drivers. A reminder, this is one of the tracks where it can be very harsh on track limits, so we may see that as a potential risk here. As the yellow flag around, who is involved in it? Is it Northey? Northey seems to be involved, as Lime's still not in. We'll try and get Lime back in again here. As we got moves throughout the field, Zampa up into P2. And I believe Tyclear and Scones battling here as well. Ovenchip says, what is Dubsy doing? As Zampa and Infrajack battle here. Side by side they go. And Zampa and Infrajack both ghosted, it seems. Or Infrajack ghosted through Zampa there. That was quite strange. As clearly you can see, I'm pretty sure you can tell the graphics are not working correctly as they should. I'm not sure why. I'll have to sort this out after the race, unfortunately. Because after my PC crashed, it reset the graphics. And not only reset the graphics, but somehow made them worse. Not sure how that's possible, but ayo. As the yellow flags are around and Gunner around again. And Gunner down to last here. As TJ and D Summers battle out of the final corner. TJ trying to stay ahead of D Summers now, but those hard tyres may not be working for TJ. And D Summers now is the rear wing open on the Williams as the Ferrari of Tyclear also looking to get involved in this battle. He's going to pick the outside of the Alpine. And Tyclear now gets straight ahead of the Alpine as well here as Zampa and Infrajack continue to battle here. And Zampa getting through on Infrajack as Infrajack going to try and fight his way back through on the Williams here. And Zampa going to try and defend this position from the hard runner of the Infrajack. And Zampa, a little bit of contact from Infrajack. But Zampa keeps it ahead now of the Red Bull. As the Red Bull all over the rear of Zampa. As Ellis and A54 battle now, and Ellis has come off worse in that battle. Something happened to Ellis. He's dropped back over a second after battling side by side with the V-Carb. Meanwhile, TJ and Tyclear have all seemed to rejoin this train again. They had lost sight of the train, but then I'm guessing the battling between Zampa and Infrajack has added to the train. Meanwhile, Scones and Ollie swap positions there. Ollie Bean gets out of Scones now, but as he left himself susceptible to the DRS now down the back straight, as Scones now will try and get back ahead of Ollie Bean, who doesn't have DRS now, as Crimson also looking for a move on Infrajack as well. Scones on the inside of Ollie Bean as D Summers picks up his first time penalty of the day. Scones now going to try and find a way back past Ollie Bean. Scones on a new wheel today, so we'll see how he can deal with his new wheel. As LTJ Northey picks up his first time penalty of the day. And also Infrajack and Zampa swap positions yet again here. As Limes finally joined us here. Hopefully he can get control of his car. That would be ideal. As Tyclear now looking for the switchback on D Summers as we head through the mid-section. As what a move from TJ there. That was so unexpected. A little mistake from D Summers opened the door to Tyclear, who tried to find the switchback, but around the outside of both of them goes TJ and finds his way through up into P5 now. That was a brilliant move from TJ, and he also has DRS off the cars ahead. Meanwhile, Infrajack and Zampa gonna swap again here in the battle for the lead, and Zampa now back up into P2. But has he managed his ERS enough to try and use some ERS in the clear air. We'll see as Infrajack now trying to find a way through on Zampa. But Crimson following along, Infrajack. As we also got Gunner back ahead of Raheem now. Raheem down to P20 as Lime finally in control of his car. And Lime going to try and make his way forward as Ellis seems to be around in the middle sector. And Ellis going to have to try and get his car back going again as he pulls off the racing line. As Infrajack and Zampa. And who was that around? Raheem around as well. As Infrajack gets ahead of Zampa now. Crimson going to look for a way through on the Williams as well here. As Zampa's a little bit of a tap with the McLaren. As D Summers looking back on the rear of TJ. But here on lap 7, there's now a 7-second gap between Stephen Beecham and the rest of the drivers. And Stephen showing why he's the championship leader at this stage, as Lime and Northey swap positions as Northey clips the rear of Lime there. And Ollie Bean is around, Ollie Bean down, and not quite sure. There may have been a couple of drivers involved in this, as the Dubsy's around as well here. So we're not getting the best of camera angles here at all. As Fackery loses or gets ahead of Dubsy, and Dubsy gonna have to come in for a new front wing certainly. As Crimson now on the rear of Infrajack. Does Zampa have DRS? Just about his DRS, but TJ now looking punchy behind the Williams. Can he find a way through? As Andre and Lanky swap positions now. The Alpine getting ahead of the Mercedes. Can the Alpine close up to the Ferrari of Ty clear ahead as Dubsy comes in for a new front wing? And TJ closing up to the rear of Zampa, but can't get close enough to the rear of the Williams. But here on lap 8, the gap between Stephen Beecham and Infrajack just continues to grow. It's almost at 7.5 seconds only here on lap 8. I wonder is Stephen managing his mediums, or is he pushing flat out as Lime gets ahead of Gunner now. And Lime slowly making his way back up the field after the issues he's had to face in this one. It's Crimson trying to find the traction out of the final corner. And trying to stay with Infrajack, trying to even use the DRS to get ahead of Infrajack. Meanwhile, Zampa just about has the DRS open, but TJ now in the rear of the Williams. Can he catch the Williams here as we head down the main straight? Meanwhile, Crimson now down on the inside of Infrajack. Crimson, can he get ahead of the Red Bull as the Red Bull sweeps around the outside? And Crimson will try and fight his way back through on the Red Bull. But the gap now at 8 seconds to Stephen Beecham as Infrajack continues to protect this position as Crimson with a big send down the inside of Infrajack, and a lovely send there from the McLaren as Infrajack now round the outside, fighting his way back through again. And what a move from the Red Bull if he can pull it off around the outside as they go wheel to wheel. A bit of a wheel tap as Crimson and Infrajack come together again. And Infrajack back ahead now. Absolutely masterful defending from Infrajack as he continues to battle Crimson and Zampa here. And look how close we are as TJ now on the inside of Zampa. A little bit of a wheel bang between Zampa and TJ. Oh, and Zampa just clips the inside tyre of TJ, and TJ around as a bit of a coming together that may see the stewards as Crimson now going to come in early on lap 9 as Lime picks up an early time penalty on his recovery drive. As Zampa now with Infrajack. Can Zampa manage these mediums a bit longer in the race? If you can get these mediums to lap 16, you can go on hards in the end quite comfortably. As Zampa now down the inside of Infrajack, side by side they go. And Infrajack trying to protect this position now, but Zampa on the outside with DRS and ERS. Zampa's back through again into P2. And can Zampa, will he stay out a bit longer? Will he try the two-stop like we've seen Crimson and other drivers do, as the Lanky and Andre battle for position here? And the Polish driver unable to get back ahead of Lanky. Meanwhile, Cree the Mexican trying to join this battle as well here. As Yuri's always late says Zampa rammed in a TJ WTF. We'll have to see what the stewards say about that one after the race, as we see the Red Bull of Infrajack into the rear of Zampa trying to find a way through, as there's a yellow flag and it's Lime around. And Lime may have to think about pitting soon off those mediums. He may be overheating them. Meanwhile, Infrajack gets back ahead of Zampa now, as Ollie Bean and Northey swap positions here, and Ollie Bean getting ahead of Northey, as Ellis also here on the track as well, as Andre gets ahead of Lanky. There's so many battles to look at here. Who do we stay with? Not quite sure, as Lime does come in off those medium tyres following his half spin, as Lanky looking back on a position of Andre, as Gunnar picks up a time penalty, as a yellow flag out there, not sure who for, to be honest, as Crimson going to get through on scones. Zampa has stayed out, which I think is the smart play. I think this race is looking like a one-stop, as Infrajack picks up a 3-second time penalty trying to drop Zampa, as Zampa holding on to these medium tyres as best he can. And if Zampa can hold on to them for about 5 more laps, then Zampa, I think, should surely be able to do the one-stop. But is that quicker? As there's another yellow flag around, and that's a phantom yellow flag. There's no one even around there. As Cree joining the Lanky one, as we see the Lanky one letting Cree through. And gonna come in now as Stephen Beecham dives into the pit lane now. And Stephen going to come out in the hard tyres. I think Stephen doing the two-stop here. He can potentially do the one-stop, but it's a bit of a stint. But Stephen will exit here in a comfortable net P1, as Crimson is around, if we do the quick math, he's around 3.5 seconds back from Stephen. So Stephen really just covering off the undercut as well here. And Stephen should still inherit P1, although him dealing with the traffic I'm sure will not be ideal as well. As Cree tries to head after A54, we've got Zampa on the rear of, oh, big snap from Zampa, losing the rear. These mediums seem to be overheating on the rear of Zampa's car, as Gunnar retires in the pit lane and calls it a day. Not been the ideal day for Gunnar, as Lime going to try and get through on the inside of Dubsy. Side by side go the Aston and the McLaren, and Lime into P16. As Stephen Beecham in A54 battle here, oh, through the final sector. And the V-Carb going to keep it ahead. Crimson picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help the McLaren in the battle for victory here, as Ty Clear comes in. Zampa going to stay out, as Stephen now back up into P4, gets ahead of A54 with the benefit of DRS. I hope he didn't get an illegal overtake there because of the V-Carb, which can be liable to happen from time to time. But as we head down the main street, seems not a lot happening other than that V-Carb that is retiring. as Lanky gets ahead of Ty. And Ty onto the mediums is definitely committing to the 2-stop, as you definitely cannot take mediums to the end. And Ty going to try and get back ahead of Lanky, but not close enough to go for the move on the Mercedes driver. But here on lap 13, Zampa doing well here. If Zampa just can manage his mediums a couple more laps and commit to the 1-stop, Zampa could be in a very good position here. As Gunnar side by side he goes with A54. And Zampa now going to come in lap 14. I think he can go to the end there. Oh, as A54 coming into the box. And that's opened the door for D. Somers now round the outside, but A54 didn't even come into the pit lane. That was strange. As Crimson now on the inside of D. Somers as they race down into turn 1. It's a drag race between the McLaren and the Williams. And as they head down to turn 1, D. Somers outdrags the McLaren now, and D. Somers up into P3. As Zampa going to exit the box. Ty Clear gets ahead of Lanky. And Ollie being ahead of Cree. Zampa going to exit behind Andre and Lanky, as well as Ty Clear as well in this battle. And if Zampa just plays it calmly and manages his hards to the end, you never know. You really never know. But we've also got Northie into the pit lane. But the gaps have actually seemed to have formed here very quickly following the pit stops. Infrajack now into the pit lane. He's definitely pit too early to go. Mediums to the end, so Infrajack definitely committing to the 2-stop there. Doing 14 laps on the hards, meanwhile Crimson going to try and get back ahead of the Williams driver of D. Somers now. As Ty Clear picks up the fastest lap. Ollie been trying to get back ahead of Cree, but Cree on these much better hards getting through and may stay ahead now as D. Somers trying to catch the McLaren here. And it's in for Jack, who's on those fresher mediums. Exit the box ahead of Zampa, but Zampa may be doing the 1-stop here. Meanwhile, Infrajack definitely having to do a 2-stop because he's definitely not going to make it to the end of the race on these medium tyres. As Infrajack picks up another 3-second time penalty, that is not going to help Infrajack on his charge for a potential podium here. Although Infrajack now on the inside of Andre. And maybe get through on Lanky as well. 3 wide, they go down the main straight. And Infrajack and Andre get through on Lanky. And a double DRS overtake there. Down the main straight, and Lanky unfortunately losing out. As Infrajack going to look back through on Andre again, but can't find a way through. But Ty Clear leading the stream. A reminder, Ty probably with the box again, not going to make it to the end on those mediums. Andre on the rear of Ty, and conceivably you could think Andre, Lanky, Zampa, Cree could all go to the end on those tyres. But it'll be a bit of a stretch to do so. They're just going to manage them, and it is doable. Meanwhile, Infrajack and Ty Clear got to push on these mediums to make their two-stop effective. And Infrajack is trying to do just that. But doesn't have the straight line speed of the Alpine of Andre ahead, who's able to stay ahead of Infrajack as A54 gets ahead of Fakri. And also Lime on the inside of the Haas. Can he go for a move down into turn 1? Side by side they go. Big contact between Lime and Fakri. And Fakri losing massively out to the Aston there, as there's a yellow flag around again. Not quite sure who's involved there. May have been Raheem, as Raheem seems to be yellow flagged for some reason. As Infrajack now following along Ty Clear. Infrajack had got ahead of Andre, as Raheem picks up another 3-second time penalty. And at the halfway point in the race, Stephen Beecham looks like he has this comfortably. Meanwhile, D. Somers and Crimson battling for P2 here. And D. Somers having a little look on the inside of the Mercedes, but D. Somers currently looking at a career best finish onto the podium as Infrajack gets on the inside of Ty Clear. As we also see TJ getting ahead of Ollie Bean as well. And can Infrajack use these fresher mediums now in clear air to pull a gap to Ty? We will see. Or can Ty find a way back through on the Red Bull? But Stephen, having a very confident drive out there, leads the pack by 7.7 seconds as D. Somers has lost DRS now to Crimson. Crimson, who's been pushing on this lap, has built a gap to the Williams driver, and the Williams driver now may start to fall back, not having the Williams or the McLaren's DRS any longer. Is Andre on the rear of Ty. Ty trying to use the toe off Infrajack ahead. As Lanky on the rear of Andre as well, trying to find a way through on the Alpine. As Lanky has a little look on the inside of the Alpine, but not close enough to make a move. As A54 looking on the rear of Ollie Bean as well here as we head down into turn 1. A54 unable to get ahead, as there's a Aston Martin of Lime having a little look on the inside as well here, as Northey picks up a 3-second time penalty. Lime going to try and get through on the V-carb now. As Lime has a little look on the inside and locks the rears, does Lime. Big error there from Lime, who has 2 wins this season, but unfortunately with the technical difficulties it really put him on the back foot this race. As Zampa, Lanky, Andre, Ty and Infrajack in this mini train. Zampa currently the driver who has the best tyres. His tyres may go to the end with some good tyre management. Meanwhile, we may see the other drivers ahead off the box. We'll see, can Lanky, Andre manage their hards to the end? Meanwhile, Ty and Infrajack will definitely have to go to the end. Meanwhile, Infrajack trying to build a gap to Ty, but Ty I think just about in DRS range of the Red Bull ahead. Meanwhile, Lime going to try and get back past A54 again. And now this time, with DRS and ERS engaged, can the Aston Martin get round the outside of the V-carb and into P12 as he's sent it on the inside of Ollie Bean as well, as Ollie Bean has a big shunt with the rear of Lime, as they're both shunting the rear of Lime, trying to stay ahead of each other as Ollie Bean goes side by side with A54. And A54 losing out there, but Ollie Bean, did he get any damage on the front wing of his car? I'm not quite sure. As A54 dives it on the inside of Ollie Bean, side by side they go. More contact between the Mercedes and the V-carb. And Ollie Bean may get through here on the V-Carb, still side by side, but Ollie Bean finally gets ahead of the V-Carb. Ferocious battling here in this one. As Lime picks up another 3-second time penalty, that's not going to help him in his battle at all here. As that is Ty Clear coming off the mediums now. Possibly going on hards to the end here. And Ty trying to catch some drivers unawares as Zampa now going to push to get ahead of Andre now. As there's a yellow flag around, I believe it may be Lime or Scones. As Zampa has been clipped around by Andre, and a big collection, and Zampa's out of the race. Zampa's out of the race after being collected by Lanky 1, and it's a safety car here on lap 21, and Lanky could do nothing to avoid Zampa here at all, and that is heartbreak for Zampa. Clipped around by Andre, and Andre just didn't seem to leave any space for the Williams at all there. Absolute heartbreak for Zampa. That has led to a safety car, and it's also put Stephen Beecham's potential win into question here. He had 11 second advantage over Crimson that now is going to be reduced to naught again, although Crimson does have a 3-second time penalty. Stephen Beecham simply being this close to the drivers. Well, certainly. Oh, what was he doing? What did he do? What was Stephen doing? As Crimson and D Summers came in, Stephen decided to stay out. Oh, that is a nightmarish mistake from the Ferrari. He seemed to have this win in the bag as TJ's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Under the safety car conditions, you don't want to be doing that. As we've got a whole train of cars coming into the pit lane. And Ty Clear going to stay out now. Can he jump all the cars that are currently in the pit lane? Where can Ty get up to is the question. And Ty up to P6. A reminder though, all the cars ahead have time penalties ahead. And Stephen Beecham, Stephen, if you're listening, box onto mediums or hards anyway this lap. Stephen, if you're listening. Stephen, box anyway, please. Please box. Hopefully Stephen is smart in boxes anyway, because he should emerge at least around his teammate and Lanky, which should still give him the opportunity to win. But if he stays out, then no win will happen. And Stephen, oh, this is a horrific mistake. Oh my lord, what is Stephen doing? As Ledgeman's trying to unlap himself and trying to potentially disqualify himself as well, but who knows what he's doing? Ledgeman, if you're listening, overtake Stephen Beecham and accept the pain the game gives you, and the game will take a while to figure it out. But after you complete the illegal overtake, then the game will tell you to overtake the safety car. We'll see if Ledgeman is listening to the stream. Just stay behind the safety car. Stay by. Oh, you're okay. Never mind. He just doesn't know how to listen. Anyway, well, Ledgeman disqualified himself, and what can you do? What Ledgeman needed to do there was overtake Stephen Beecham and wait behind the safety car until he got the message that it was good to overtake the safety car. But Ledgeman did not want to wait around. And Ledgeman out of the race. And funnily enough, there's two drivers behind him of Northy and Raheem that will score points ahead of Ledgeman. But this is actually, interestingly enough, helped the likes of Lime get back into the race. Lime does have 6 seconds of penalties, but Lime could still be on for a decent result here, but the major driver who has absolutely made a huge error under this safety car is Stephen Beecham not boxing. He is going to be absolutely swamped off this restart, and Stephen's only going to go backwards. And Stephen, I think, has thrown away the win again here. It's disappointing from Stephen. I think Stephen's just made a horrendous error here. As Zampa in the chat not too happy with his incident that unfortunately led to his retirement. But Stephen had an opportunity to win here today, and he honestly, he is no one to blame but himself if he doesn't win, because he should have boxed under the safety car and for whatever reason didn't box. I mean, even the lap after he should have boxed but still didn't. I don't know why he hasn't. As Dubsy now going to come in, but just a complete mistake there from Stephen Beecham. As TJ and Cree battling under the safety car. But I just don't know what Stephen was thinking, to be honest. He'll be swamped by everyone around him. I know the other drivers behind him do have penalties, but they will just get ahead of him so quickly, and he'll have nothing to do to try and defend. And he'll even get overtaken by his teammate of Ty Clare and Lanky. It could be looking at Ty or Lanky looking like the favourites to win here, avoiding penalties. Or could Crimson even pick up his first victory here, even with that 3 seconds of time penalties? Well, Stephen Beecham now going to try and drop the hammer now, as he's been a bit throttle limited, I think. As Northey going to follow the safety car into the pit lane, and Stephen now going to try and go, but Crimson now on the rear of Stephen. Can D Sommers even get his first win as well here? Both of them have a great opportunity here, because Stephen has not boxed here, and it was a big mistake from Stephen. And Crimson and D Sommers have to take advantage here. Infrajack out there with 9 seconds of penalties. It may be unlikely for him to try and get ahead here, as Lanky has lost out massively, with Raheem potentially causing some havoc there. And Lanky going to have to try and get caught back up again to Ty Clare's. D Sommers looks to switch back. Crimson here as we head down into the rectangular hairpin, which is a bit of a strange one, as Crimson on the rear of Stephen Beecham. Stephen defending for his life here. Cars absolutely everywhere. Crimson makes a mistake. D Sommers goes through the middle sector. We're side by side. So risky to go side by side through here. And Crimson somehow gets through on Stephen. What a massive move there. As Infrajack going to look through on the inside of Stephen as well. Backs out now as D Sommers now round the outside of Stephen. Side by side they go, and D Sommers gets through, but D Sommers has to hold on to the rear of Crimson, otherwise it'll be Crimson's race to lose. And Stephen now under pressure from Infrajack, and Stephen goes deep into the final corner, which opens the door for a switchback from Infrajack. And Stephen now down to P4, and he will be absolutely gutted with his mistake, as Stephen now battling with Infrajack. Stephen has still straight line speed here to get back ahead now as D Sommers into the lead now. Side by side he goes with Crimson. Can D Sommers get ahead of the McLaren? No. Crimson going to stay ahead now, as Infrajack looking on the rear of Stephen Beecham. And Infrajack now round the outside. Can he get ahead? As Andre also looking on this battle as well, as Infrajack goes very deep and around and breaks so much later than the Ferrari and gets through, as Infrajack now going to try and catch the likes of Crimson and D Sommers ahead, as D Sommers has picked up the lead now, as Lime picks up another penalty, as Stephen now lost out to Andre. And if Stephen's smart here, he'll just let his teammate through of Ty at earliest opportunity, because Ty is in a much better position here to try and win. But Stephen has royally thrown away the opportunity to win, as Andre, I think, picked up another time penalty as well, very much costing him. Here's Lime, gets through on Ty. Not quite sure what happened there, but Lime, with all his time penalties, still getting his way through on Ty. That was a surprising move, as Stephen gonna come in now. That is such a horrendous error from Stephen. I don't know what he was thinking at all, but even if he didn't mean to not pit on his first attempt, he should have pit on the second attempt. As Crimson gets round the outside of D. Somers into P2. As Crimson gets ahead into the lead, and now can D. Somers stay with Crimson now? All these drivers battling for their first win in WHF as A54 and Ollie Bean come together. As D. Somers, Crimson, Infrajack, Andre, all four of those have not won in WHF before. This would be their first win in WHF. Who can get their first win, we will see. Meanwhile, Ty has a win in Spain, but is one of the drivers who has been... Oh, and Stephen going on to 11 lap old mediums. This has been... Oh, the race from hell for Stephen. Oh, my lord. Nothing more could go wrong for Stephen. My lord. He's pit onto old mediums. Why did he have no fresh mediums? I don't know. What is EA doing? As Crimson picks up another 3-second time penalty. And that plays into the hands of D. Somers now. If D. Somers plays his cards right and makes sure that he keeps a gap to Ty, then D. Somers could win this race. He just has to stay in DRS range from Crimson. He doesn't even need to really get ahead of Crimson. He just needs to stay with Crimson. But he's going to look on the inside now. And backs out now. Infrajack, though, going to play a factor in this race. Infrajack, if he gets ahead of D. Somers, that may spoil D. Somers' party. He's got to try and stay ahead of Infrajack at all costs. He doesn't need to be in the lead of this race because of Crimson's penalty. He just needs to make sure that Infrajack does not get ahead. Meanwhile, Ty and Stephen Beecham's retired in the pit lane. Oh my lord, our championship leader has had the race. In his first stint he was doing so well, but when that safety car came out, it absolutely has ruined everything. And Stephen, unfortunately, retires from the session in a heartbreaking way. Stephen was on for his first win in WHF, and it all went out the door. Meanwhile, here on lap 28 of 36, D. Somers has to play it smart because he has to keep his mediums alive so that he can stay with a hard runner of Crimson. He cannot allow Crimson to build a 3-second gap. Otherwise, D. Somers could lose this potential win. Crimson looking at his first potential win in WHF as well here. Infrajack, if he can somehow take advantage as well here, could be looking at his first win as well. D. Somers goes very deep though into turn 1. And Tyclair battling with Lime, and Lime's completely lost the rear, and he's collected Lanky, and for the second time this race, Lanky has been an absolute victim into turn 1. As Ellis has rejoined for whatever reason. And Infrajack battling with D. Somers. This is not what D. Somers needed. And D. Somers now has lost DRS to Crimson. And D. Somers now has to stay with Crimson. Otherwise, if Crimson pulls a gap, it could be a win for Crimson. D. Somers battling with Infrajack. And it may have cost him the win here. And heartbreak for D. Somers as well. So much heartbreak in one race. Just from start to finish, so much has gone wrong here. As Lanky picking up a 3-second time penalty. Is the race win still on for Tyclair here? Ty is still inside the penalty margin of Crimson here. And Ty just has to make sure that he keeps the gap to Crimson, and Ty could be on for the win here. But does Crimson have the better pace in clear air? We will see. We'll keep an eye on the gap to the leader. But Ty, after everything that's happened in this race, Ty could still win the race from keeping his nose clean. As Infrajack now on the rear of D. Somers. As D. Somers now struggling massively on these medium tyres. And Infrajack now going to look for his way through on the Williams as he picks the outside of the Williams car. And D. Somers now trying to stay ahead of the Red Bull as they battle here on lap 30. As Infrajack into the rear of D. Somers. And the gap between them and Crimson continues to build, and it will continue to build until the end of the race as they continue to battle more and more, because their mediums can only go a certain distance, as Crimson's hards will go a lot longer and a lot further into the race. It's more on Ty. Can Ty close to Crimson? But Ty actually falling a little bit back now from Crimson. Can Crimson pull a big enough gap now? Crimson has 6 seconds of time penalties. And Ty is just within that threshold. But can Crimson get his first win here of the season? We will see. As Infrajack continuing to be a nuisance for D Somers. A reminder to everyone listening, everyone who finishes the race will pick up points in this one. Points in WHF go down all the way to P16 as TJ and Cree battle, and Cree leaving no space on the inside for the Alpine at all. And TJ has had a big mistake as well out of turn 1. Not quite sure what's happening with TJ now. Maybe some damage after coming together with Cree, not quite sure. And Cree picking up another time penalty as he tries to get his best result of the season. And D Somers picks up a 3-second time penalty. That is definitely all she wrote for his chance for the win here. Meanwhile, if we have a look at the gap to the leader, Ty now has lost a second to Crimson. So it's looking like as time progresses that Crimson is the favourite to win here in the McLaren as A54 picks up another 3-second time penalty, battling with Ollie And Ollie now going to look on the inside of the V-Carb, side by side they go. And a big coming together between the Mercedes and the V-Carb. And more contact here in this race. This race has been full of contact throughout, probably more than we as Factory gets ahead of TJ, oh my lord, what's happening? TJ's connection. What is happening? I don't even know what's happening. Lime now trying to look for a way through on TJ. And TJ, who won last time out, seems to be having mega issues in this one. As are many drivers in this race. So many drivers with issues this race, including the commentator, I must say. Also, important to note, Andre could be on for his first podium in WHF as well. But he's got to get ahead of Infrajack and try and get ahead of D Somers as well. As Ledgeman says, RB is driving very ellipses. As Ty Clear has got to do something if he does want to catch Crimson here with 4 laps to go. And Ty is probably hoping that Crimson picks up another 3-second time penalty at this stage, because Ty doesn't seem to be going as forward as he would have liked. As Ollie Bean going to get ahead of A54 down the main straight with DRS if he has the straight line speed, but the V-Carb seems to have superior straight line speed here to the Mercedes despite having DRS. Ollie Bean, I'm going to look on the inside, brakes later, and brakes deep into turn 1, which allows the V-Carb back through again. Lovely switchback from the V-Carb as Ollie Bean trying to get his way through on the V-Carb. And Ollie Bean again sending it on the inside of the V-Carb. Side by side they go, and the Mercedes leaves the track now, battling with the V-Carb. As A54 loses a position in curious circumstances. Meanwhile, Andre now in the rear of Infrajack as D Somers continuing to lose time to the leader here. And Ty has gone off to take advantage of this battle as the yellow flag around. And it seems to be A54 now dropped behind Dub Z, has had a little spin now. As Andre going to look to get through on Infrajack now. And Andre on the better hard tyres. There's an opportunity here for Andre to get his first podium in WHF. As Infrajack and Andre battle into turn 1. But Andre going to let through Infrajack. Trying to be patient is the Alpine. Meanwhile, Ty knows he'll get P2 here basically, but a potential win is on the cards if Ty can dispatch of all these cars ahead of him. Ty's going to have to do something special here if he does want the win here. Ty unable to find an opening on the cars ahead. But honestly, the gap isn't even that big between him and Crimson. If he can get ahead of Infrajack and Andre, and he uses the DRS as a slingshot into the clear air as Infrajack picks up another time penalty, that will certainly make sure that Infrajack finishes outside the podium positions. As Infrajack now battling with Andre. And Ty Clear now seeing both drivers battle ferociously, which is costing them all time in this battle here. They've all got time penalties, which is costing them even more time now. As Ty now going to try and get through on Infrajack. And surely Ty, with DRS and ERS, can he get ahead of the Red Bull? As we charge down to turn 1 and here in the penultimate lap. Ty's going to need a miracle to win this one. But Ty on the inside of the Red Bull, can he find a way through? Side by side they go into turn 1. And Infrajack going to keep it ahead of the Ferrari. As the Ferrari trying to search for a way through on the Red Bull. And Tyno on the inside of the Red Bull as the Red Bull almost causing contact with the Ferrari. And Tyno on the inside of Infrajack, side by side they go. And Infrajack back through again as Ty looks for the switchback, and what a switchback it is from Ty. Beautiful move. Infrajack on the outside, can he keep a wheel in? I don't think he has it, as Ty does get ahead of Infrajack now. But can Ty catch Andre on the cars ahead? Meanwhile, Lime getting ahead of Cree. And where can Lime finish in this one? As Leitman says, this podium feels off, and you can be right, because a lot of drivers on this podium will have not been on the podium before, as Lanky maybe even has a chance of getting the podium here, although not quite sure how this is going to all play out with all the penalties, as we've started the final lap, and Cree around in the wall, coming together with either TJ Factory or Lime, not quite sure who Cree was involved with, but heartbreak for Cree as well here. And this race has been so dramatic. Now, meanwhile, Andre on the final lap getting ahead of D Summers, and Andre can be looking at his first podium in WHF as he gets ahead. Meanwhile, Lanky getting ahead of Ty Clear, and this is a bit all for naught, as Ty should still finish P2 regardless, and D Summers trying to get back ahead of the Alpine as they battle down into turn 4, and D Summers coming together with the Alpine of Andre, side by side they go, and D Summers may lose out to Andre here on the final lap. And can Andre pick up his first podium here this season? And D Summers may have to wait for his first WHF podium this season. As we continue on, meanwhile, we'll go to the man of the hour, Crimson, who's had a couple podiums this season, but never stood on the top step of the podium here. And Crimson, as he rounds the final corner now, Crimson in the McLaren will win here in Mexico, here in round 5, as Lanky and D Summers battle side by side, and Lanky getting round the outside of D Summers. Who has better penalty situation though, as we all round the final corner? It's a drag race to the line, and Ty Clear finishes P2 as Lanky gets onto the podium ahead of Andre, ahead of D Summers. Meanwhile, Lime and Infrajack battle to the line as TJ jumps all the way up to P6 ahead of Lime because of his penalties. Factory up to P8, Cree into P10, as Scones has had a spin. Dubsy up to P10, Cree into P11. And Ollie Bean into P12, A54 into P13. Scones with an unfortunate last lap spin into P14, and Raheem will finish P15, Northey P16, and everyone who has finished this race will classify Andre with a season best of P4. And Crimson with his first win here in WHF, Ty Clear up to P2, Lanky up to P3, and this is going to have a dramatic swing in the championship. The championship lead has definitely decreased after this race, because our championship leader of Stephen Beecham, who at a point in the race looked like he had the win in the bag, but Stephen unfortunately will not finish inside the points. He retired in P17, so Stephen will lose a lot of ground in the championship after this race. It seemed like a race where he could double his championship lead, and now his championship lead may shrink completely, with Ty Clear on the podium along with TJ picking up a decent result in P6 as well. As we'll try and get the drivers in for the podium interviews. And there you have it, driver of the day goes to Lime in most overtakes as your race winner is Crimson, as we'll try and get all of the results here if they're needed. Also the race director as well. Which may be difficult in Mexico because so heavy on track limits is Mexico. Oh my god, I think we're going to run out of time. We actually run out of time. That is hilarious. There wasn't enough time to get... And we'll try and get all the drivers in for interviews. We're going to start with the man of the hour, Crimson. It's your first win in WHF. How does that feel? Oh, hold on, Crimson. My Discord is not coming up. Give me a second. Alright, fire away, Crimson, now. How'd that race go for you?
I knew it was going to be a rough one today. I barely got any sleep last night, and I had work. But the start of the race was really rough. To be honest, I was struggling to keep it on the track with the mediums. But I ended up pitting early for the hards because I was honestly planning on the two-stop as it was. But I just pit earlier because those mediums were not it for me. And then the safety car came out, and I just kept waiting for Steven to pit, and he just wasn't. And then, yeah, D. Summers, I'll give it. He had a really good race this week. He was really keeping on the back of me. But I let out a scream of excitement for the first win, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and a fantastic win there. To be honest with you, you were shocked as me whenever we seen Stephen Beecham not pit. I mean, the first time he didn't pit, I had a feeling that he went into his pause menu or something. That's what took him out of the pit lane. But the second lap, he was still a good 20 seconds ahead of you. So were you even surprised on the second lap that he didn't pit?
I was, because I was really pushing too to even try, and if he did pit, I was going to push on that outlap to try and undercut him. But I didn't. Was unavailable, really.
But we also seen you battling very hard with D. Summers there, but it seemed like you had it in the bag because we could tell you were on the hard tires, D. Summers was on the mediums. It was a question whether D. Summers could manage his mediums to the end, and whenever Infrajack behind you actually in turn helped you get the win because he was battling with D. Summers so much that...
Yeah, I was kind of pushing them back into Infrajack so they would fight a little bit. And I got that 1 second time broke, and I was just off to the races. Then my car was planted in that third stint.
Yeah, and was a very good final stint, I must say. And Crimson, you pick up your first win. Congratulations. And especially with the championship leader retiring now, that puts a huge spanner in the works in the championship. Could you see yourself potentially win the championship this season?
It's a long way away. I'm still sitting at 5th right now. I just got to keep putting in consistent results, and we'll see where we go from here. It was a nice result this week, though.
Well, thank you, Crimson, and congrats on the win. And the next driver will move on to, last time out, had a driver of the day performance from P14 to P4, and this time out has another performance similar to it with Lanky now finding himself all the way back onto the WHF podium. Lanky, how'd that race go for you?
Better than expected after the two incidents that you saw in turn one. Obviously nothing the drivers could do. They spun. It was just unfortunate. It was right in front of me, but no, I wasn't thinking podium was on. around the safety car period. I was sort of aiming for top 5, so the podium, I'll happily take a podium.
Yeah, and a terrific performance from yourself, Lincoln. Great to see you back on the podium here in Tier 2.
Yeah, it feels good.
And also, we'll ask D Summers, how'd your race go? We've seen that you were battling with Crimson towards the end of the race there. Did you feel like the win was on at any point?
Potentially, but then again, I had myself 6 seconds of pens. At the time that the battle started, I believe Crimson was only on 3. So I was just doing what I could to try and force him into a mistake, which I believe he actually made.
Yeah.
But
you were both on 3, then Crimson was on 6, and then
I was on 6.
Yeah.
And it just deteriorated from there. But yeah, in that final stint, I really should have gone for the hard tires, but I had chosen the balanced allocation because I'm a moron. But yeah, it was. I got to the point where I was feeling the rear end slide on like lap 31, 32. And then it was just a war of attrition at that point with Infrajack up my gearbox. And then when Andre got past him and then got past me, I went for a move and my brakes just didn't work. The tires were so gone, I ran into the side of Andre in Sector 2. And yeah, from there, I just dropped like a stone on the final lap. But it is what it is. It's better than P8, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, well done to Crimson for pulling that one out the bag. And well done to Lanky and Ty and Andre for all making my life difficult.
Well, nonetheless, it was still a very good race from yourself, D Summers, and hopefully, as we head to the next round, maybe even a podium could be on the horizon as well.
Hopefully, but not until Imola shows up. Apparently, that's the only track where I'll get a blooming podium. But yeah, it was a good race. Well done to everyone, and Andre is going to have words with Zampa after that incident. But yeah, I'll let you get on. Thank you for having me here again.
Yep, thank you, D Summers. We'll move on to Lime, who had so much technical issues at the start of the race, and then Lime just showed you today why you should always stick with the stick in the race, even if things don't go your way. Because Lime at a point in the race was last and wasn't even in the lobby, and then was able to recover it all the way up to P8. Is that right, Lime? Lime? Your mic's not really working.
No, he's underwater. He is.
Can anyone hear him? Because I cannot hear him at all.
No, it sounds like
no,
it's
right,
like
I'm
really
here.
bad
I'm
reception.
here.
There he
I'm
is.
here.
Oh, there you are.
Shh. I'm here. What did you say, Aaron? I can't remember.
Did you finish P8 in that race, was it?
7.
Oh, P7? Well,
Yeah.
well, I was just bigging you up. I was saying that's why you should always stay in the race, because despite how bad the race was going for you at the very start, where you couldn't even really get in the lobby, you then recovered all the way up to P7, so you still scored some very good points in the championship for yourself. How did that race go for you in that recovery drive?
I honestly, at one point, thought it'd be better going medium, hard, because I was going to pray for a safety car, which did come, but I went medium, hard, medium, because obviously as you saw off the safety car, I was up into like P5, and I thought if I went medium, I still could have won the race, starting from last, but I didn't go medium, hard, so that's the point that dropped me so far back, because when I was battling, Ty just locked my rears and I spun round, but I did come P7, but besides that, I think that was a drive and a half, probably one of my best, if I had stayed P5 maybe in the podium points, but yeah, moving on. I mean, it's good that Zampa and Steven retired, but Ty didn't, so still got a bit more catching up to do, but helps that they both retired. So we shall see. It does help that every single track left is a track that I like as well, so we will see.
Yeah, and hopefully next time you can at least do qualifying because we're.
Oh yeah, I know what happened. I accidentally pressed something in my settings like earlier when I was playing with Ollie and Ledgeman. I set it to casual, not expert, so
Mhm.
every assist was on, and I was like, what on earth is going on? So I left, changed it, and it wouldn't let me back in. And then at one point, before lights out on the grid, I went to put Spotify on, my game just crashed. So I couldn't get back in after that until like lap 8. But doing all that within, what's that, 27 laps? 27 laps was pretty good going, so I'm happy with that.
Yep, and it was a good recovery drive from you, Lime, and it definitely will help you in the championship. We'll move on to Gunnar. Gunnar, I'm going to be honest, we didn't see much of you that race. Gunnar, what happened to you in that race?
To be honest, I don't really know myself. I had a bad qualifying because I didn't practice much before. But then I worked my way up, and then incidents happened like 2 or 3 times. I just called it quits after that.
Yeah, we did see at the back, but there was honestly so much action throughout the field. There'd be a yellow
Yeah.
flag out, and then there'd be 2 more yellow flags out on the same lap, so it'd be hard to even know what was happening.
Yeah. I just got rear-ended and then came last and then spun again. So I just ended it there.
Well, unfortunate, Gunnar, and hopefully we'll see you again next week, and hopefully for better things as well. But we'll move now on to Ledgeman. Ledgeman, how'd your race go?
Well, obviously, it started a little bit different with the quali ban. I felt that I got a pretty good start. Moved up to like P14 or 13, somewhere around there. So I was very happy with that, going off the line. And then I pulled back the season 4 me and spun it. I then lost 1 placing because of that, just re-entered track, managed to get going again, and then spun it again and hit a wall this time. This was about lap 5 where I knocked off a wing flap. I decided, still not sure if this was the right thing to do. I decided not to box and wait and just pit my pit window a couple laps early. So instead of lap 16, I bring it down to lap 10, I believe, which onto the hards. I tried to take them to the end. And then when the safety car came out, I decided to box. And I was really confused because it let me overtake the safety car. So I went to go do it. And as I went to go do it, Stephen overtook me and was up with the safety car. So it pushed me back into the queue. And then when I tried to overtake the safety car, I got disqualified.
Well,
So I'm not really sure what happened there. And I don't know why I didn't box as well, because I'm not really sure. He was the only one not to box. I don't know if you've interviewed him and I missed it.
I'll just let you know for future, if something like that happens again, you do get stuck behind P1 and you're stuck behind the safety car, what you need to do is simply overtake Stephen and take whatever 10-second penalty or whatever it gives you. Because once you're in the lead of the train, then after a while, the game will work out and then tell you to unlap yourself. But you need to give the game time to work that out before you actually do overtake the safety car, because then if you just overtake the safety car, it'll just disqualify you. You have to wait until the message comes up on the screen saying you're free to overtake the safety car. Because if you do get a 10-second penalty for Stephen, overtaking Stephen there, then you would still gain time because it's better than being lapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it really did annoy me because I don't think I would have done it nothing insane, but I think I could have at least maybe battled for another position or two if I didn't get lapped. So it's a little bit unfortunate. But hopefully the tracks going forward are slightly better for me. I've had my rough patch now. Hopefully I can get back into it, get back to the round 1 type of race.
Yeah, hopefully so. And we'll see you next time. And hopefully Kota can be one of your better circuits.
Yes, thank you.
As we'll move on to Ollie Bean. Ollie Bean, how'd your race go?
Well, I had a really good start. I avoided the carnage of turn 1. My medium started to wear an awful lot. I was in constant battles with like Ty Clear, D Summers, and Scones for a while. And through the S's, a mix of dirty air and tyre wear, I ended up spinning. I managed to keep it out the wall, but I then went to box because I saw that the one stop wasn't viable. I boxed onto the hards and I started gaining positions again. I did get a lot of penalties after my medium started to wear a lot because I'd exceed track limits ever so slightly. So I ended up getting like 6 seconds or something like that. And once the safety car came out, I ended up getting stuck behind an RB who was a lot slower than me, but would keep the position due to barging me off track. So eventually I just had enough, and I will be honest, I completely barged him out of my way because I had enough. I got stuck behind him for like 10 laps and I just had enough. So I just barged him out of the way and just carried on. But yeah, it wasn't a great race. It could have been a lot better. So I'm just looking forward to COTA, really, because I know I'm good at that track. So yeah.
Well, hopefully when we go to COTA it can be a better one, and we'll have to see what the stewards say, because we did catch some of the stream of you and the V-car battling, and we'll have to see what the stewards say following that one. But
yeah, I would just get barged off track, and I was getting a lot more penalties because of that. But it's fine now, I suppose. It's over with now.
Ali,
But, yes.
I want to apologise for that ungodly dive bomb I did.
That was from like a second away. That was criminal, mate.
I wanted to escape that V-car as soon as possible because he started killing me as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I caught up to you so quickly, so I thought, oh, you're just letting me past.
No,
I thought you were letting me past.
I was getting caught and just barged. I just couldn't make any time. But oh well, move on to COTA, I suppose.
Well, a reminder to everyone listening to put the incident tickets in, because that's the only way that incidents get resolved, and also the only way for drivers to actually realise, oh wait, I should probably drive a bit cleaner. So it is the best solution. But anyway, I think that is
Me last season.
Precisely. I think that is everyone interviewed here today, and we'll find someone to raid on our way out. This has been round 5 in Mexico, and we'll find someone to raid on our way out. Unfortunately, this has been a bit of a scuffed one because my PC crashed at the start of the race, so unfortunately some of the graphics looked a bit dodgy throughout the race. But anyway, if you have enjoyed, regardless, please drop WHF a follow, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time as we head to COTA next week, and also tomorrow as Tier 1 heads to Austria. But anyway, thank you all for watching.